Tonight, it's week 4 of This Week in Pro Football. We look back at yet another extraordinary Philadelphia Eagles victory. Zach Berman joins me to discuss Eagles-Rams and the timely return of the passing game in Philadelphia. Bill Reinhard has your week 4 starts and sits among a rash of injuries. Justin Mark on some really bad beats in week 3, really bad. 2 all-timers. And let's chat about the NFC East. And we'll do that and talk about the Eagles and the Bucs. This is another team that gives the Eagles fits. We'll get into that all as week 4 starts. And it starts with This Week in Pro Football.
It's time for This Week in Pro Football. A deep dive into the key issues and marquee matchups in the National Football League. For the next 60 minutes, we invite you to sit back or lean in with host Pat Callahan as we preview the week's Eagles matchup, big games, breaking stories, and all news NFL. It's This Week in Pro Football, right now on JAKIB Media Sports.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining me here on JAKIB Sports YouTube for a week 4 edition of This Week in Pro Football. Xander Krause, kind enough to produce tonight as we toll the bell for the start of the next week of NFL football. Most other outlets start tomorrow. Hey, we'll start tonight and try and get everything set here for some more decent NFL product. Aren't we all just ecstatic to be starting the European slate of games? I know that adds so much allure to Minnesota playing Pittsburgh, to have them play 3,000 miles away in Dublin. Tickets for that game right now priced at around $750, so it's not too late. All right. Please do me a favor. If you're obviously watching a live show tonight, why don't you join the chat? You just join the chat to the right side of the screen there, and you can make comments about what's discussed here on the show and interact with the This Week in Pro Football community. I love these guys and women. Thank you all for joining me, and please bear with me. You all know what today I started my infusion process, and I'm not talking about something you drink on a golf course. That's just the real deal. So please bear with me. My voice is a little hoarse. I'm a little out of breath, but we will get through it. We will get to it. We're going to put a seam here, and we're going to put a seam there. And here we go with This Week in Pro Football. Xander, if you will, why don't you bring up those week 3 standings? By the way, tonight is, as I mentioned, Zach Berman going to join me in about 10 minutes time. And then after that, a couple of the usual suspects. Bill Reinhard will talk fantasy. Justin Mark will be weighing in on some terribly bad beats in some key games this week. And then at 7 o'clock, I'm going to throw it open to the chat, and we'll review some comments that you guys maybe are making. 2 things I think struck me as of right now. One is the NFC East race over? I mean, can anybody make a case that Washington, or don't tell me Dallas, and don't even joke about the New York Giants, is going to challenge Philadelphia to in that division? I can't even conceive of it. So is there any chance the Eagles will not win the NFC East? And the other thing that I think is worth discussing is the Eagles have lost 6 out of the last 7 to Tampa Bay. The series is tied 9 wins overall. But the Eagles are losers of 6 of 7, including 2 postseason games, especially down there in Tampa. They struggle in Tampa. So we'll see how that plays out. But, boy, the Eagles do find a way. As Xander so gleefully pointed out to me after last week's Ram game, the Eagles have won 19 of their last 20 games. That is impressive. That's an impressive little run there by Philadelphia. They find a way to do it. And they're a well-coached disciplined and talented organization. So anyway, mull that over when you're posting on the chat there. And let's see if we can come up with a way that the Eagles are going to win this game. They have really struggled both offensively and defensively against Baker Mayfield and the Bucs. But anyway, the standings here, you can see it. Philadelphia 3-0. Forget that. I just forget it. I don't think anyone else. Well, let me admit, Washington has a good chance to be a wild card team. That's that. In the South, Tampa Bay now 3-0, but they are getting banged up. They're getting banged up, as Xander pointed out. I think the Bucs have now lost Mike Evans for a month. Chris Godwin may be back in time, so that could be a huge benefit for the Eagles if he doesn't make it back in time for that game. But still, tough defense, tough to run on. The NFC North, Green Bay, which is one of the worst losses. Whether that's worth a chat too. Whose loss was worse? Green Bay up 10-0 with about 3 minutes to go in the game, or the Rams up 26-7 with in the third quarter, attempting 6 field goals against the Super Bowl champions. That's a good winning strategy right there. But the NFC North is going to be very tough. Minnesota, I don't believe in them. I think they have major quarterback problems. Detroit, best home team ever, and Chicago. All right, what are you going to do with the Bears? What are you going to do with the Chicago Bears? Chicago gets its first win of the season against Dallas. And in the West, San Francisco, without its starting quarterback, 3-0. So you got to give them their props. Arizona, 2-1, but they lose their starting running back for the season, James Conner. That's a lock. Once every couple of seasons, he's going to be out for the year. The Rams sit at 2-1. Seattle looks good. In the AFC, Buffalo 3-0. Forget it. Buffalo. The AFC East is the same as the NFC East. You got a superpower team in the Buffalo Bills, just going to rampage through any bad team. And there's plenty in that division. Look at that. New England 1-2, Jets 0-3, Dolphins 0-3. Incredible. In the South, I don't believe in the only team I believe in there is Indy. I don't believe in Jacksonville. Look at Houston. Terrible start for the Houston Texans. Another bad loss for them. So, man, there's some bad ball being played in this league right now, right? And there's some bad ball. Let's go, guys. Let's get it together here. And in the AFC West, how about those Los Angeles Superchargers? 3-0. And they've beaten every team in the AFC West, including the Raiders, who are so overrated. People love to love the Raiders. They love it. They just love to say, oh, man, I'm cool. I'm a Raider fan. Come on. 1-2. Denver doesn't look good at all. Bo Nix off to a terrible start. And the Chefs get their first win of the season against the New York Football Giants, who already changed their starting quarterback and will soon be changing their head coach. So there's a look at the standings there for Week 3. We'll take a look at the Week 4 schedule at the end of the show. So interesting take here as we get into Week 4. Some teams have got to snap out of it. I mean, there are some teams, if you think back now, the standings that Xander just put up there, they're on the precipice, man. You go 1-3 here, especially in some of those divisions where you have a Buffalo or a Philadelphia, you're going to lose sight of first place. And, if you think about the NFC, it's already going to come down to, there's 3 wild cards. And so you figure there's 7 playoff spots altogether. Well, they're going to the 4 division winners, whoever they are. And then they're going to either Washington or Minnesota, maybe. And then you have Detroit. They're not going to miss the playoffs. Detroit's still too good offensively to miss the playoffs. They will be there, certainly. And then you have 3. Really, you have all 4 teams in the NFC West are in contention. So it's going to be a real dogfight down to the end there for a half dozen teams or so in the National Football Conference. So, all right, listen, we get back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm happy to be joined by Zach Berman. Zach filling in for Sal tonight. And we're going to talk. I want to talk about that Eagle-Ram game and get his thoughts on how that game played out. And also his take on whether the Eagles, after an emotional win like that, can now go down to Tampa and put an end to a terrible streak of losses against a pretty good Buccaneers team. All right, we're going to do all that next here on a Week 4 edition of This Week in Pro Football, presented by Kennedy Ford.
Welcome back. We've got another exciting play underway at KennedyAuto.com.
That's right. At KennedyAuto.com, you can browse their entire inventory from home.
The customer is scrolling hundreds of Ford, Mazda, and Subaru vehicles right at his fingertips.
He made his selection and got a bottom line price set directly to his email. He could go all the way.
And the deal is good, all without leaving his couch. Incredible. KennedyAuto.com. Enjoy your ride.
Discover the essence of true community banking with First Bank, your trusted partner across Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Their network of branches brings you convenient access to dedicated personal bankers who understand your unique needs. At First Bank, you're not just a customer, you're a valued member of the community. Additionally, they are excited to announce the opening of 2 new branches in Media, Pennsylvania and Trenton, New Jersey, bringing their personalized banking services even closer to you. Connect with any member of the team today at their Westchester office, conveniently located at 849 Paoli Pike, or call them at 484-881-3800. First Bank is an equal opportunity lender and member FDIC.
Johnny Apple's restaurant and bar opened in 2001 and for over 20 years has been serving great food and good times to Bucks County residents, friends, and family. Ideally located at 184 Buck Road in Holland, Johnny Apple's offers a terrific array of steaks, seafood, and daily specials. They also host private parties and affairs of any size. For excellent food, great company, and a relaxed lunch or dinner, check out Johnny Apple's restaurant at 215-953-9900 or at johnnyapplesrestaurant.com.
All right, welcome back here to This Week in Pro Football. Don't forget to hang around for the entire program, please. We're going to talk about this rash of injuries at the skill position in the NFL. And, of course, it still relates back to the fact that no one's playing in the preseason. We'll get into that, some bad beats, certainly, and we'll talk Eagles-Bucks. And we'll do some of that with this gentleman here, who Zach Berman, who covers the Eagles for the long stints at both the Inquirer and the Athletic. Zach Berman is returning to the Athletic and also the Philly magazine. Zach also covered the New York Giants for the Star Ledger, and it's great to have him on the show here. And Zach, thanks very much for joining me here on This Week in Pro Football.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Pat.
All right, Zach, I see you got yourself comfortably ensconced there. That's an impressive bookcase. And so, listen, I want to start with this. Zach, you covered the last week's game, and as I was texting with you about, John Facenda once said, speaking about the 1979 Steelers, great teams aren't always great. They're just great when they have to be. Is that what we saw last week when the Eagles blocked 2 field goals against the Rams?
Yeah, I mean, they did enough to win, right? And it was an outstanding second half for them offensively and defensively, the way they were able to hold the Rams out of the end zone and the red zone defense in the first half was critical. So certainly, they were good when they needed to be. And it's the type of thing, it's been the case against the Rams here for a few years
right.
with Sirianni against Sean McVay. But I think that description would be apt. I don't think it's something you want to make a living doing, though.
No, I agree. The Rams, as a franchise, and I followed them for a long time, they just have a knack for doing the stupidest thing possible. Certain franchises just do, Zach. You know what I mean? You ever notice it that, the Bears, the Rams will do it. Certain teams just can't get out of their own way when it's crunch time. And I think maybe the Eagles are learning to be the exact opposite.
No, it's a fair point. There's a certain resilience to the Eagles. It's something that they talk about. But you saw it with the Chiefs last year too, winning all those one-score games. I don't think though it's the like I said, you don't want to make a living doing it, right? Yeah, I know there's different ways to win, and all that matters is if you're one more point than the other team. But the quality of play matters as well. And I think that to a man in that locker room, they're not happy with the way that first half went.
Talking here with the excellent journalist Zach Berman, who's been a Philadelphia fixture on the sports side for a long time. Zach, what does it say, or does it say a lot about how a team is coached when on a dime they can spot a weakness in special teams and block 2 field goals, and they can say, all right, hold off on the rush on the run game here. We're going to switch. We're going to start throwing the ball, and it works. It works like they never stopped throwing the ball.
Well, it's a credit to the coaching staff for the things that you mentioned, certainly, but they also got into a 19-point hole, right? And so I think that it works. It works both ways there. There's a story that famous sports writer Jim Murray was covering. I think Jack Nicklaus said, "What would Arnold Palmer do in this situation?" And he said that Arnold Palmer wouldn't be in this situation, or it's the type of thing where the fact that they were in a 9-point hole that they had to dig themselves out of, that's not what you want to see. And so I think that, the block punts, I give them a lot of credit for that. The offensive adjustments, I give them a lot of credit for that. But there's still that first half that you can't absolve them from either.
No, that is true. It's true. It's puzzling in a way that the Eagles will go through a certain, a plurality of minutes in a game where they just seem to shift into neutral. I don't know if it's because they think they're going to win the game. They're confident they're going to win, and that's it. Or if it's just a matter of adjusting to what the other team is doing. But as I mentioned in my initial segment, 19 wins in 20 games, that you're in rarefied air when you're able to turn it on when you have to and garner a result like that.
No, you're correct. And for Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni, look, the wins and losses is a way to judge them. And they win a lot of games. And so both of them, right, if you look at head coaching rankings, you look at quarterback rankings, they're probably not ranked as high as they should be when you consider that they're in the winner's circle quite a bit.
No, you're certainly right. Now let's all laud Jared Goff. He plays in a big garage and throws 5 touchdown passes, and that's great against the Bears. But we all remember what Jared Goff did last January against, face it, a good Washington Commanders team, but still not that good. Zach Berman, is the NFC East race over?
Well, you never know what's going to happen with injuries, right? And so I never want to call a race over in week 4, but I thought going into the season, the Eagles were the class of the NFC East, and that remains the case. I certainly think that they're superior to Washington. Dallas. I thought Dallas was actually going to be more of a challenger to the Eagles than Washington. The CeeDee Lamb injury affects them. Obviously, the Micah Parsons trade before the season, and the Giants are really struggling. So it would really surprise me if the Eagles aren't back-to-back NFC East champs for the first time in 2 decades, really.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it, that it's been that long since a repeat champion. But the Cowboys are particularly fascinating. One thing, Zach, they're on national TV 2 times a week. I don't even know how they manage that, but it's a team that's not very good at all, in my opinion, and wasn't coming into the season. I thought they'd be maybe a 9-8 team or something like that. But the attention this team gets for being, I think, a fair to middling operation, it's really astounding. I mean, the Eagles are almost more anonymous than the Cowboys are.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys do have to have talent, and I thought they played well against the Eagles in week 1. I've always been high on Dak Prescott, and when CeeDee Lamb's healthy, and George Pickens on the other side, and they have some quality young players on the offensive line, but I think defensively they're they're really struggling right now, and trading one of the best players in the NFL didn't help them.
No, that was a mismanaged situation right from the beginning by the egotistical Mr. Jones. Talking here with Zach Berman. Congratulations on returning to the Athletic.
Thank you.
Continued success there. It's a fine and thorough publication. All right, Zach, the Eagles return to what is right now their personal house of horrors. They've lost 6 or 7 games now to this team, most of them in Tampa, where the Eagles just seem to get hit with a golf club right after the national anthem, and next thing you know, it's 17-0. But they're not playing the Rams this time. They're playing a team that goes for the jugular. Give me your Wednesday night thoughts on this game coming up Sunday. You think Philadelphia will be ready for that?
Well, I think that right. The Eagles obviously know what's happened in Tampa, but I think a big reason for that is the Bucs are a good team. They're a talented team on both sides of the ball. They're well coached. I have a lot of respect for Todd Bowles. As far as the Eagles going into this game, we need to see how it is health-wise. And that's the thing. You look at last year's game, they were missing A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Lane Johnson. Offensively, they were a show of themselves last year, right? And the Eagles put Nolan Smith on IR today. That's a major loss to the edge rush. And so we kind of need to see how some of these injuries shake out. But I think it's going to be a tough game for the Eagles. And I think it's going to be a tough game because the Bucs are a good team. They're 3-0 for a reason, right? And Baker Mayfield's playing at a high level. Now they're missing Mike Evans, and they're missing some, key players on their offensive line as well. So, there's a lot of different variables. We need to see how this week goes, but it's going to be a tough game for the Eagles for sure.
It is, and it's amazing. And I'm sure statistically I'm wrong because every season is probably like this, but it sure seems like we've had a rash of injuries to prominent players and prominent skill position players in the first month or first 3 weeks of the season, and then now they're starting to bite into the Eagles now too. Zach Berman, you have a new book coming out, Leap Year: The Eagles' Ascent to Super Bowl Champion. How do you feel about the book? You excited about it? And what inspired you? And you are a prolific book writer. What inspires you to churn these books out?
I appreciate it. So over my shoulder here, you see Leap Year. It came out yesterday, Tuesday, the 23rd, and it's behind the scenes of the Super Bowl season, right? And so I've covered the team now. This is year 14 for me. I'm with the team every day, and it was such a fascinating team and story to cover. And so as far as writing these books, I'm fortunate to cover the Eagles during a prolific time in franchise history, in that, you think the first 51 years, Super Bowls, they made 2 of them. They didn't win 1. In my time covering the team, they've made 3 and they've won 2. And so they've given me rich material. They've given me rich material to write about. And I think that's what you'll see in this book. I'll take you inside the Super Bowl winning locker room. I'll take you from the time the red confetti fell on Jalen Hurts to the time the green confetti fell on Jalen Hurts. I'll introduce you to a lot of the characters that made this team special, whether it's Jeffrey Lurie, Howie Roseman, Nick Sirianni, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, Lane Johnson, A.J. Brown, Jalen Carter, Zach Bond, Darius Slay. There's chapters on all these guys. It was fun to tell this story, and I'm eager for Eagles fans to be able to relive this season through these words.
Well, I would recommend it. Obviously, I recommend the book to all of my viewers here, and I wish you very well with it, and continued success with all of your journalistic endeavors. And look forward to, Zach, if I could grab you and having you back this season. I think it's going to be another pretty good season here in Philadelphia. And thanks again for coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you, Pat. All
right. Zach Berman joining me there. Very prolific writer and a good writer too. So please check Zach's work out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, when we get back, I'm going to be joined by my arch nemesis. That would be Bill Reinhard. Bill and I are going to talk some fantasy football, some starts and sits, and what the hell is going on with these injuries to skill position players. We're going to do that next here on a Week 4 edition of This Week in Pro Football, presented by Fantasy Guru.
What on earth are you doing? We have dinner reservations in 15 minutes.
I'm trying to figure out who to start in my fantasy football lineup. Every website I check has a different opinion. It's driving me crazy. How do you set your lineup so fast?
I have a secret weapon that will blow your mind.
Wow. What's the secret?
I've been using fantasyguru.com for all of my fantasy football decisions.
Fantasyguru.com? Isn't that with that crazy guy, Jeff Mans?
You mean the legendary fantasy guru, Jeff Mans? He's a genius. Fantasyguru.com has everything you need to dominate your league. Starts, sits, busts. It's like having a fantasy football expert panel in your corner.
Wow. Fantasyguru.com. But I feel like you're cheating on me.
How do you think I won our league last year?
Fantasyguru.com. It'll feel like you're cheating, but you're not. Join fantasyguru.com today. Use the code NEW30 for 30% off instant savings.
Evolution Energy Partners has helped hundreds of businesses save millions of dollars on their energy spend. They offer electricity and gas procurement strategies, efficiency audits and engineering and financing solutions, as well as online utility bill management. To learn how your business can save, visit www.evolutionep.com or contact Chuck Herschella at 610-329-8288. Evolution Energy Partners, energy solutions to improve your bottom line.
At Whistler Pearlstein LLP, we assemble the most effective team to handle all of your legal needs. There are players and pretenders, but our hustle and heart set us apart. In practice now for over 75 years, we're proud to be one of the most prominent full-service law firms in the Philadelphia region. We offer 17 different areas of practice, including business, corporate, and tax education law, real estate, zoning, and land development, municipal law, and litigation. Our top-rated attorneys and staff are laser-focused on client success. We strive to provide outstanding legal counsel with the highest level of care and consideration. Let us show you the Whistler way. Learn more at WhistlerPearlstein.com or email Michael J. O'Donohue at mod@whistpearl.com. WhistlerPearlstein.com or mod@whistpearl.com.
Hi, welcome back here this week in pro football. Pat Callahan joining you as we rumble around the National Football League. Great segment there with Zach Berman filling in for Sal Powell. And nice to have Zach on. Man, a young-looking guy. Guy's done a lot. Good for him. Let's get this trivia question out, ladies and gentlemen. You're killing me with these answers. I don't know if I've got you stumped this time. I doubt it. Remember, no looking it up. I trust my viewers. They do not look up answers. It's not a test. It's a trivia question. All right? Just join the chat. Throw the answer on there. The first one, the correct answer that Xander sees, is going to win a fabulous This Week in Pro Football t-shirt, not available in stores. All right. This question, though, is kind of a two-parter. If you get it right, you have to validate. All right? It's just the way of it. You got to validate. So the question is this. Since the Associated Press began awarding NFL Most Valuable Player awards, and it was adopted by the NFL as the official MVP, they've awarded 66 MVPs. Only one has won it 5 times. There's only been one 5-time winner of the NFL's Most Valuable Player award. Who is it? And then when I see a correct answer, I'll give you the validation question. All right? So that's it. Who's the only 5-time winner of the NFL's Most Valuable Player award? Xander, when you see that answer, let me know, and then we'll see if the person can validate my other question. All right. While we garner those votes, how about we bring this reprobate in? And that would be Bill Reinhard, okay, a writer for the New York Daily News and also a fantasy guru for Fantasy Guru. Bill, how you doing?
I'm well, and I can tell you right now, I can give all your listeners a hint.
You and I give that.
They're not Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, no Buffalo Bills.
There were no
Buffalo Bills. That is a good hint.
All right.
That's a good hint. You are exactly right. You're exactly right, Bill.
There you go.
Yeah, that's one team you can eliminate.
Yeah. Hey, Pat, before we start, I want to say happy 90th birthday to my father, Bill Reinhard Sr. He's 90 years young and he's still going strong. So happy birthday, Dad.
Way to go.
Thanks.
Way to go for Bill.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure he's probably a little mildly disappointed how his namesake turned out, but what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Yeah. All right, Bill. Listen, I am just I mentioned I had Zach Berman on, a writer for the Athletic and for the Philadelphia Inquirer.
Smart guy. Very smart guy. Yes.
And I mentioned how it probably statistically would not hold up that a given year has a rash or an anomaly, a shocking number of injuries to skilled position players. It's probably the same, evens out over the years. But boy, doesn't it seem to you like we are losing some guys here?
It does.
Yeah.
When you and I watched games, in the 90s, they just like rubbed dirt on it and went back out. I just think today's players, they are so muscular and so strong that the torque that they create on their body does so much damage to the joints and to the soft tissue. And you're seeing worse and worse injuries as a result. I mean, if they did pull a hamstring in the 70s or 80s, they just wrapped it up and they kept running. So, I'm not saying they're no tougher than the guys today. I just think the injuries are more severe.
Yeah. This week, James Conner, my 4th round pick, gone. Yeah. But I did grab Trey Benson. I grabbed Benson 4 or so rounds later.
There you go. That was smart.
Yeah. And Indy rolls up another 40-pointer, and all of it from none of it from Danny Dimes. Well, 6.
Yeah.
And that was only due to an extra effort by, I think it was Michael Pittman, I think.
Yeah, but, you're jumping ahead to my sits, by the way, with Danny Dimes. But we'll get there.
You can't do that to me.
We'll get there.
Who am I going to play?
We'll get there. Don't worry about it.
I'll tell you, Reinhard, you're out to ruin me.
We're good friends, Pat. We're good friends.
I knew it.
What are friends for?
Yeah, I know. Well, as far as picking up guys to fill some of these broadly vacant skill position slots, who's at the top of your waiver list this week?
Well, Trey Benson was, and if he's not picked up in certain leagues, I'd be surprised. He's averaging 6 yards a carry. He's going to get the full load, so definitely Trey Benson. But there's a lot of receivers to pick up. Tyquan Thornton of the Chiefs. He'll be good for one more game at least. Xavier Worthy practiced all week. He practiced in full today, as a matter of fact. So I expect Worthy back in some capacity, but you can go with Thornton. He's really their long ball guy. He's had a couple of long touchdown passes already this year. So Thornton, you can sneak in there this week for the Chiefs. I like him. Trey Tucker has been a revelation for the Raiders.
Couldn't get him.
4 touchdowns. Do you know what other receiver has caught a touchdown for the Raiders? Nobody. He's the only one in 3 weeks, a receiver that's caught a touchdown. So that kid is for real. I actually had him and cut him because I didn't think this could last. I thought it was kind of a fluke, and now I'm kicking myself because I have McLaurin, and I'm not going to be able to start him this week. Speaking of that, I like Luke McCaffrey a little bit if you're in a deeper league, because I don't think McLaurin's playing. I don't think Noah Brown is playing. So you can have Deebo Samuels and McCaffrey. McCaffrey, I think he had 3 catches for 56 yards last week. You can go with him. And then my super sleep pickup, Patty. You ready? You're sitting, right?
I'm ready.
Yeah. I really like Jalen Tolbert from the Cowboys. I don't think CeeDee's going to play for a while. Tolbert, he's sneaky good. He had a couple of really nice games last year, especially when CeeDee was out. Some people like Turpin, the kid, the speedster, but Tolbert's been around. He's going to move the chains for Dak. They're going to throw. They're going to throw. They can't run the ball. They think they've thrown more than any other team in the NFL so far. So if you can get a sneaky pickup with Tolbert, put him in that spot where CeeDee is, you're going to be pretty happy.
Yeah. All right. I mean, Dallas, man, I just don't know. I don't know.
They throw the ball. They throw the ball.
They do. Well, that they do. You are certainly right there, Bill. That they do. They throw that ball. You see Chris Godwin making a return for Tampa.
Practice in full today, not limited. He had a full practice. He's practiced 6 out of 7 days in a row. So I do see him, especially with Evans out. I think they're going to need him. I think they bring him back. So, it's a tough game against Philly. So I like the odds of Godwin coming back. Now, whether do you trust starting him? I'm always leery, but he's such a pro that if he's out there and if he's healthy, he's going to get open, and Baker's going to find him. So if he plays, you start him. If he's active, you start him.
All right. Talking with Bill Reinhard here from fantasyguru.com and the New York Daily News. Jake Browning was a darling waiver pickup last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever Joe Burrow went down. And Jake had, I guess you could say, he didn't have a very good game last week against Minnesota.
It's an understatement. That's an understatement. I really, I thought he would do a lot better than he did, And now his schedule is brutal coming up. He's got Denver. He's got Detroit. You can start him against Detroit. And then he's got Green Bay. So 2 out of the next 3 weeks, you don't want any part of them. And unfortunately, that's going to affect Higgins and it's going to affect Chase. I've been kidding around on Twitter with, go get Russell Wilson, Cincinnati, or go get Jameis Winston, or what about Kirk Cousins?
It's a matter, I guess, Bill, of do the Bengals believe they have a shot at playing January football, right? If they think without Burrow they could do it, then I would go get Cousins. I mean, you got to pay a lot of money, but I would do it. But
I think
that's the decision.
I think you have to commit to your team, and because even if Browning goes down, I don't even know who the next guy up is. So even if you had a little security, what are the Giants doing with Russell and Winston anyway, backing up Dart at this point? Why are they on the payroll? So, excuse me, I don't see any reason why Cincinnati wouldn't go get a little security. You can start Winston, just tame him, just say, hey, we're in orange and black. Throw it to those guys instead of the other team. Because that's the only problem with Winston is his interceptions. Otherwise, he's a touchdown and yardage machine.
Yeah, he is. All right, let's get to some Buffalo Bills starts and sits here. Who do you like? Give me some names this week. All right, let's start with the sits. I know you can't wait to ruin my fantasy bit.
Yeah.
So go ahead. Who are you sitting this week?
All right, so I'm sorry, but Danny Dimes, I think he's number 2 or 3 QB right now in fantasy. So the first week he had 3 touchdowns. Second week he had 2 touchdowns. Last week he had 1 touchdown. So the natural progression of things at the Rams might be a donut, but I won't go that far. I just, he's not as good on the road. I mean, he should have done a lot better against Tennessee last week. I know they ran well. I get it. But I thought he put up a little more yardage than he did. So he kind of scares me against the Rams. That's number 1. Chase Brown, we talked about Cincinnati. Chase Brown, the Bengals get so far behind, they abandon the run, and they're not blocking well anyway. Chase Brown had 10 carries last week. 10. Yeah. I mean, that's Devin Singletary numbers. And you drafted this guy in the second round. So Chase Brown scares me for the next month, I got to tell you, especially with that schedule. And then I kind of like Ladd McConkey at the Giants. He was I don't see him getting, when I say I like to bench him. I don't see him turning around. He's fallen from like the number 1 guy to the number 3 with Quentin Johnson and Keenan Allen, and now McCaffrey is he's at the bottom of the receiving food chain there. So he's not a guy that I want to put in my lineup. So
he's been a disappointment. He has been a disappointment. He looked like he was going to really fill into one of those New England Julian
Edelman. Right.
And he hasn't done it, and
now he's more Hunter Renfrow. So
yes.
Let's name small shifty receivers. He's like Hunter Renfrow.
And who would you recommend too, by the way, if you're in Ontario Hampton? That's his name, right? The running back with the Chargers.
Yeah.
Who's the guy to pick up now that Najee Harris is gone? Who's the guy to handcuff Hampton to?
I'm embarrassed to say I don't know. I don't know who's next in line there. I'd have to look at the depth chart, but that's definitely not on my radar. The San Diego
San
running
Diego.
game. Sorry. Oh my God. Come on. San Diego, the St. Louis Cardinals, it's the Washington, I can't, Pat. I can't.
It's crazy.
I can't.
It's crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I like the look, there's terrific logic behind all your sits. How about your starts? Who you want to get the hell out there and
Caleb Williams against the Raiders. He hasn't had a bad game yet. He's had like 36 points, 26 points, 27 points. It's going to be bombs away. The Raiders give up 70% completion percentage. They only have one interception. So I really like Caleb Williams this week. Another guy, and he hasn't had a good year yet, but Chuba Hubbard, right?
Right.
Here they shut out Atlanta 30-0. Chuba gets no points. Bryce Young gets no. I don't know how I don't know who scored for them, but they need to stop fooling around, turn around, hand the ball to Hubbard. They didn't even have 200 yards worth of offense. They're getting away from what they did. They used the run to set up the pass for Bryce Young at the end of last year, which is why he did well. You cannot lead with Bryce Young. You got to lead with Hubbard against the Patriots. I think that's the way to go. And here's another guy that has done nothing. I think he has 6 catches all year. Is Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah.
He's in San Francisco, but they just lost Bosa. Their pass rush is non-existent. So I expect Trevor Lawrence to bide a little bit of time and get the ball to their best playmaker to keep them in that game. So those are my 3 starts for the week.
I have Trevor Lawrence. So you're telling me sit double D and go with Trevor Lawrence.
Honestly, you think they're not going to have to pass against San Francisco? Because I do. So, yeah, I mean, you can, especially like the San Francisco's line is just devastated. They weren't really pressuring the quarterback with Bosa. He was the only one they had. So, look, between those two, it's a coin flip. Dime is a coin, so flip him out of there and get Trevor Lawrence in. All right.
It's funny you mentioned that, and you're right again, because it seems like drafting the kid that Jacksonville did, with that second pick, trading up to do it.
Yeah, not even using him.
Has neutered both of them.
Yeah, Harvey.
You know what
I mean? They're not even using the guy. And I don't understand it. But why did you trade up to get him then? That's
right. But not only are you not using that guy, you're not using the other guy. The guy who had 10 TDs or whatever he had last year and played terrific red zone football.
Right.
You're not using either one of them. I don't know. Sometimes NFL offenses mystify you.
Well, look, I have Travis Etienne who carried the ball all the way down to like the 1 yard line, and they pulled him and they put the kid in Tootin the backup who got the touchdown. I just love it when that happens. That's fantasy football at its finest right there.
The only thing I can take solace in with this fantasy season, Bill, is that your boy James Cook has taken solid control of that top running back job.
He's shot out of a cannon.
Josh is actually letting him carry the ball. I don't know how the hell the Bills are doing that, but
and that kind of worries me this weekend with Josh. He's not going to have to do much against the Saints, I don't believe. So if they'll get if they get up 24-0, I can see them taking their foot off the gas there.
I agree, but not Josh's foot off the gas. They'll take Cook's foot off the gas. But Josh, if he has a chance to rush for 8 touchdowns, he'll do it.
Well, let's get some throwing stats in there too. Let's get a couple of touchdown
throwing
passes.
Stats would be nice. You're right.
I could use it.
All right, Bill Reinhard. Where does everybody find you this weekend for any last-minute pearls you got coming?
So you can always ask me a question on Twitter, NFL Fantasy Bill. I'm in the New York Daily News tomorrow with my starts and sits. And my column this week for FantasyGuru.com is Ready, Aim, Fire, Daboll. So, and I talk about the quarterbacks that had terrible rookie seasons, which we're entering the Dart era. It's his rookie year, and guys like Elway and Bradshaw and Manning, they were horrible their rookie years. With and Aikman went 1-16, but it depends on the coach. If you had a solid coach behind you, then the coach stayed. But if you had a mediocre coach, the coach was out of there. So rookie QBs will tend to be a coach killer. So I really don't expect Daboll to be around very much longer.
No, I absolutely agree with it. I absolutely. I said Ontario. Thank you, Crowley. X26. It's O'Marion Hampton.
Marion. Well, I agreed with you, so I'm wrong too.
But
what happened to names like Mike and Jim and Phil? I don't know.
But then Twiz says, this is my chat. I love these guys on my chat, Bill. Dimes is about to cook the lambs. How about
nice.
That? He's taking a shot at my Rams there.
Oh, sorry. But still, that's your quarterback.
That's right.
It's a double-edged sword.
It's easy to win a fantasy league with Daniel Jones. All right, Bill Reinhard, thanks a lot for joining me. I appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time.
All right.
Great conversation, and look forward to talking to you next week. All right.
God bless. Go Bills.
All right. Go Bills is right. Thanks, Bill. Xander, I think we got a winner on our question. Is that correct? I saw Peyton Manning's name appear, and Peyton is the only NFL player to win the Associated Press MVP 5 times. It's not Drew Brees. Yeah, there's Peyton. Abe. Is that the same Abe who already won this year? I got to think about that. But Z, if you identify who it is, I have to ask my validating question because it wasn't that tough a question. So you'll let me know that, and I'll throw the second question out there when we get back. Second time winner. Come on, Abe. Man, oh man. Take up baseball. Anyway, we'll do that. But also next, after a break, we're going to be joined by my good friend Justin Mark. We're going to be talking some props and picks, and some pretty good games coming up on this week's slate. We'll do all that next here on This Week in Pro Football.
Somewhere on the blue planet lies a hidden gem, nestled in the heart of lush greenery. And create your unforgettable story.
Welcome back. We've got another exciting play underway at KennedyAuto.com.
That's right. At KennedyAuto.com, you can browse their entire inventory from home.
The customer is scrolling hundreds of Ford, Mazda, and Subaru vehicles right at his fingertips.
He made his selection and got a bottom line price set directly to his email. He could go all the way.
And the deal is good, all without leaving his couch. Incredible. KennedyAuto.com. Enjoy your ride.
Johnny Apple's Restaurant and Bar opened in 2001 and for over 20 years has been serving great food and good times to Bucks County residents, friends, and family. Ideally located at 184 Buck Road in Holland, Johnny Apple's offers a terrific array of steaks, seafood, and daily specials. They also host private parties and affairs of any size. For excellent food, great company, and a relaxed lunch or dinner, check out Johnny Apple's Restaurant at 215-953-9900 or at johnnyapplesrestaurant.com.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a Week 4 edition of This Week in Pro Football. Xander has confirmed Abe's a 2-time winner, but Abe, you got to text Xander back this one. How many of those 5 MVPs came in a Denver Bronco uniform? Don't look it up, Abe. All right, how many of those 5 came in a Denver Bronco uniform? If you get that one right, and I guess I'll send you a second shirt, you can open your own haberdashery. All right, ladies and gentlemen, how about we bring this gentleman on? I assume he's in the house, and that would be my buddy Justin Mark. Justin is there. Good evening, Justin. How you doing, pal?
I'm doing good. How are you?
All right, I'm very good. The proprietor of the Old Fashioned Football Podcast, Football and Whiskey Podcast, hosted by Justin and his lovely wife, who I think was on the show a couple of times. And I'd like to have her back on, maybe see if some of her picks could help me out. I don't know. I need some help. Need some help here, Justin. But I want to start with this with you. A word about the Green Bay Cleveland game. I had seen. I don't have the attribution, which is wrong, but I didn't get to write it down. But at one point, I'm told, or I read, that the money line on Green Bay Cleveland, the amount out on Green Bay, was the highest amount ever out on a regular season NFL game. Did you see anything like to that effect?
I didn't see that, but I saw a lot of the books reporting that there was, I think, 75% or more of the money on Packers to cover the spread, and 80 or so for money line, and that's DraftKings, FanDuel, like all those bigger books were reporting that. So the books cleaned up on this one. They cleaned up.
They certainly did. Unbelievable. Green Bay had a 94% win probability with 11 minutes to go. Cleveland scored all 13 of their points in the last 3 minutes and 38 seconds. Would you believe this, Justin? It was the first win in 1,127 Cleveland Browns games. First win ever where they had 0 points and trailed by at least 10. I don't know. The last time Green Bay blew a 10-point lead with 3 minutes to go was 1967, 300 games ago. I mean, you just say, what happened there? I mean, first off, Green Bay on the road, they're just another team. I don't believe in them. I think you and I talked about this. I don't believe in Jordan Love. Don't. And Cleveland's a tough defense. They played hard. God bless them. You can't lose that game, can you?
Yeah, and I was on Cleveland to cover. I thought this was a game where the Packers would show up. They'd be sloppy. They wouldn't take it as serious. I didn't think they'd win, but I think the Browns showed the rest of the NFL how you beat the Packers. You stop the run. You make Jordan Love beat you, and he can't. They held Josh Jacobs to 30 yards on 16 carries, and I think that sets up a nice recipe of stop the run, make Jordan Love beat you. And no, I'm not a fan of Jordan Love either. I am a Bears fan though, so you'll rarely see me say nice things about Green Bay quarterbacks.
Congratulations, nice win for the Bears there. By the way, Abe, on my chat here, Justin, if you'll pardon me just a second. Abe, the question is this: of the 5 MVPs that Peyton Manning won, how many was he wearing a Denver Bronco uniform? Come on, Abe. Simple answer. Just give me the answer. All right. Sorry about that, Justin.
All good.
But that game was a shocking game to me. Green Bay losing, and the other thing that struck me, of course, the baddest of bad beats was the Rams coughing up a lead to the Eagles by having 2 field goals get blocked. Is that one of the worst beats you've ever seen in your outstanding career?
Well, for me, it was great because I was on the Eagles with the 3.5. I gave that out last week on this show, and
yep.
I especially don't like picking the Eagles games wrong on this show, which I did against the Kansas City because I thought, no way, Kansas City goes 0-2. Eagles beat them. So I'm sitting there. Rams are getting ready to kick this field goal. I'm like, man, they're going to blame me because not only are the Eagles not going to cover, they're not going to win. And then they, of course, block it, return it all the way for the touchdown, which he didn't have to do. A lot of guys would just go down at that time. You got the win, you go down. But yeah, that was a pretty bad beat if you're on the Rams, no doubt.
Yeah, that was a terrible, terrible loss if you're a Ram fan. You don't get many beats like that. But let's move ahead now to week 4. Let me have one general question. The European games start this week, which I don't care about. I think it's just another printing press for the National Football League, as if they need one. But do you have any policy at all towards betting or not betting these European games? Does one team get an advantage when they play over there?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think so. That used to be you could watch how they travel out there because some teams would go out early, others wouldn't. They actually denied the Steelers going out early this year and said, no, we want both teams to arrive at the same time, which I thought was pretty interesting because to my knowledge, they used to let teams decide when they wanted to go out there. But I guess the NFL is putting their foot down on that today.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the Vikings are staying out there 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So they're letting them get out there early, I guess, for the second game. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's just another. I mentioned at the start of the show how tickets are going for $775 a piece over there. But I don't know. But it's just another way for the league to make money. I'm not a huge fan of those games at all. Let's go to some games that I think I am a fan of in terms of good competition for week number 4. Green Bay at Dallas. Now this, Green Bay should win this game. I don't believe in Dallas at all. and a 6.5 number here. Give me your thoughts on this one.
Well, yeah, I don't believe in Dallas at all, especially after they made my Bears look so good. And
yeah, that's right.
I hate to say it, but I don't think the Bears are that good. I kind of went back to, last year I had a really good pick against the spread record. This year it started a little bit slow. Honestly, I'm a gut handicapper, but sometimes you got to put the gut aside and dive into the data. So I did that this week. And just some interesting things, well, first of all, Dallas has no CeeDee Lamb. That's going to be a problem. They have no defense. That's going to be a problem. And Micah Parsons facing his old team is going to be a problem. But Green Bay is 8-2 against the spread against Dallas in the last 10. They're 12-3 on Sunday night. Dallas is 3-12 when the over-under line is over 45. And they're 2-8 against the spread against teams that just played Cleveland, which is a really weird stat, but they are. And 2-8 against the spread or against the NFC North. This should be more than a touchdown. I don't think Dallas is going to be able to stop the run like Cleveland did to Green Bay. And I also think this is a game where Jordan Love can succeed. He can take advantage of a very bad defense. I mean, we saw Caleb Williams throw 4 touchdown passes. Jordan Love should be good for 2 or 3, right?
I would think so. He certainly was that playoff game a couple of Januaries ago. Baltimore travels to Kansas City. Justin, by the way, I'm talking here with Justin Mark, who's the host of the Old Fashioned Football podcast. Justin's going to give out his libation of the week in just a couple minutes. Baltimore, man, they had a tough schedule here. Every week they're playing a top 5 NFL team here, and more often than not, it's on the road. But anyway, so Baltimore at Kansas City here. Ravens a 2.5-point favorite. Talent-wise, I think they're substantially more than a 2.5-point favorite over Kansas City. But how much do you factor in the quarterback savvy in this pick, Justin?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to count Patrick Mahomes out of anything. And it's crazy to think that one of these teams will be 1-3 after this game. That is insane to me. I would not have expected that. But Ravens 7-0 on the road after a straight up loss. They are very good at rebounding. That Harbaugh-led team has always been that way. And the last time I said, hey, I don't see the Chiefs falling to this record, they did fall to that record. So I'm not using that strategy again. I'm going with the team that is the better team. They have the better offense. They're going to be able to move the ball better, and that's the Ravens. I think they can outduel and outpace the Chiefs.
All right. That's fair enough. I feel the same way. I'm going to eschew the rain game, and instead we'll go with the home team here, Justin, just to make your life more skittish. The Eagles travel to Tampa. I think the Eagles they're still a favorite, though, right?
I believe that's correct. Yeah.
The Eagles are
3.5-point favorite, I believe.
And let me just look it up here. I could do that, but I think they are a favorite in this game. And let me go to week 4.
Yep, 3.5-point favorite.
That's it. Are you surprised at that hook? Given, as I mentioned often on the show, 6 or 7, Tampa has won in recent years, and yet they still even throw a hook there, 3.5. I think it's a big number for this game.
I do too. I mean, they've shown that they're the one team that can really handle the tush push, right? We've seen it over the past couple of years here that they've been able to at least slow that or stop it multiple times, far better than any other teams. I know they're without Mike Evans, but in the past 2 games that they've played, he wasn't a huge factor in the game. I know one of them, he had 3 catches for just 40 yards. Chris Godwin might be back. I expect Kate Otten to do well. I just think that it's the 3.5 because the Bucs seem to have needed a comeback in almost every single game, it feels like this year. But I think that they're going to keep on that momentum. They have that confidence that they can beat this team, that they can make this team struggle. So 3.5 is way too many points. I'm riding with the Bucs and the 3.5 here.
All right. Yeah, see, I felt the same way as you on auto picks. So I hope that doesn't bode ill for you. So tell me about the podcast. Tell me where everybody can find it.
Yeah, look us up on YouTube, Old Fashioned Football. We're also on Spotify and Apple. Talking football, we do a recap of the previous week, preview of the coming week. I give out a lock for every game. And then the wife throws in some fantasy football advice as well. And of course, we talk whiskey. Tonight, we're going to be talking Dead Guy whiskey. This is finished in Cabernet barrels. It's a single malt finished in Cabernet, made in Newport, Oregon, right on the coast.
How about that? West Coast?
Yeah, Oregon there.
Yeah. How about that? Dead Guy whiskey. man. I guess they're running out of names finally. I don't know. Listen, Justin, thanks a lot for joining me. I appreciate you taking the time. We'll review these picks next week and see what else you got coming out. We get to week 5 here in the NFL. Thanks very much and look forward to it, right?
Yep. Cheers.
All right. Thank you, Justin. Justin Mark joining me there. All right, listen, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, just going to wrap it up. I'm going to look at these chats here, see if my boy Abe, did he ever answer the question or not, the second one. And we'll check that out. And I also want to get some opinion going from the chat boys. Eagles going to win this game or not? The Eagles going to win this game against Tampa Bay. It's not going to be an easy one, coming off a very emotional win. We'll do that to wrap up the show here and take a look at week 4's schedule on a week 4 edition of This Week in Pro Football.
Welcome back. We've got another exciting play underway at KennedyAuto.com.
That's right. At KennedyAuto.com, you can browse their entire inventory from home.
The customer is scrolling hundreds of Ford, Mazda, and Subaru vehicles right at his fingertips.
He made his selection and got a bottom line price set directly to his email. He could go all the way.
And the deal is good, all without leaving his couch. Incredible. KennedyAuto.com. Enjoy your ride.
Discover the essence of true community banking with First Bank, your trusted partner across Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Their network of branches brings you convenient access to dedicated personal bankers who understand your unique needs. At First Bank, you're not just a customer, you're a valued member of the community. Additionally, they are excited to announce the opening of 2 new branches in Media, Pennsylvania and Trenton, New Jersey, bringing their personalized banking services even closer to you. Connect with any member of the team today at their Westchester office, conveniently located at 849 Paoli Pike, or call them at 484-881-3800. First Bank is an equal opportunity lender and member FDIC.
Johnny Apple's Restaurant and Bar opened in 2001 and for over 20 years has been serving great food and good times to Bucks County residents, friends, and family. Ideally located at 184 Buck Road in Holland, Johnny Apple's offers a terrific array of steaks, seafood, and daily specials. They also host private parties and affairs of any size. For excellent food, great company, and a relaxed lunch or dinner, check out Johnny Apple's Restaurant at 215-953-9900 or at johnnyapplesrestaurant.com.
All right, back here to wrap up a week 4 edition of This Week in Pro Football. I don't know, Abe. That looks like a fail to me. I'm told that you guessed 4. That a guy who played almost his entire career with the Indianapolis Colts and rewrote almost every passing record in the books. Apparently only did it once when he was with the Colts and 4 times when he was with the Broncos, which is, I think, is 1 more season than he even played with. So I'm going to have to give you a fail on this one, Abe. Sorry, pal. But keep at it, please. Keep at it. Happy to send you another shirt if you keep getting these right. All right, listen, Xander, why don't you bring up those week 4 schedule here. Thursday night, Seattle at Arizona. Arizona, no James Conner. Seattle playing well. I like Seattle in this game. I'm just not a big believer in Kyler Murray, quite frankly. Sunday morning game now. We start this European nonsense. Minnesota acts as the road team against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know. Pittsburgh 2-1, playing well, but I'm not sure they're. I'm not sure about Aaron Rodgers yet. I mean, but he's certainly a better quarterback than whoever Minnesota's putting out. That Carson Wentz started six straight years. He started for an NFL game for 6 different teams. And he wins more often than he loses. Didn't have to do much last week. Washington travels to Atlanta. The Falcons should be absolutely embarrassed. I've talked about teams like Atlanta. They just don't know how to win ball games. To go up to Carolina and lose 30-0 at home in a division game that you should put in your pocket easily, it's just terrible. Terrible. Michael Penix does not look impressive as a starting NFL quarterback. Sorry. New Orleans goes to Buffalo. For God's sake, what are we doing? We're killing the Saints. They're killing them. And Buffalo will crush New Orleans, just like Josh Allen crushes whoever he can. Cleveland, coming off an unbelievably emotional win, will now get burned at the stake against the Detroit Lions. They're a tough team defensively, but they're gonna fold, and they're gonna lose big to a team that loves to run up the score. Tennessee and Houston, I'm sure there's somebody in this great nation of ours who cares about that game. I mentioned Carolina, a big upset win last week against New England. That's going to be a competitive game. The New York Football Giants hosting the LA Chargers. Just what the Giants need, another 3-0 team coming to visit them. I think this is it. I agree with Bill Reinhard. I think this is it for Brian Dable. Be interesting to see how Jackson Dart does. One thing's for sure, he's not going to be ready, but you might as well get going because you're going nowhere with Dangerous. Talked extensively about Philadelphia, Tampa. My pick on this one is Eagles are going to win. Why not? 19 out of 20. Why wouldn't you pick them? I just think Tampa's getting awful banged up, including Mayfield, who's taken some big shots in the first 3 weeks of the season. One of the most interesting games of the day, the 3-0 Colts versus the 2-1 Rams. Rams coming off a terrible loss to Philadelphia. We'll see how they rebound, and it'll be another chance to see how for real Colts actually are. Jacksonville will lose to San Francisco. They shouldn't necessarily, and they have as much talent as San Francisco does right now with all the injuries the 49ers have. But Jacksonville will find a way. I like the Ravens to, just like Justin, I like the Ravens to win at Kansas City. And then Sunday night game, Green Bay is at Dallas. I like Green Bay here. I just like anybody against Dallas. The Bears versus the Raiders. I do like the Bears to get another win. I think the Raiders are one of the most overrated teams in football. 2 Monday nighters again. 7:15 and 8:15. The Jets travel to Miami, and then the woeful Bengals coming off a disastrous outing at Minnesota, travel to Denver. The Broncos, this could be a get-right game for the Broncos. All right, that's it. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. The chat, and not too many comments about the Eagles game. I think the overall sentiment appears to be the Eagles are going to win, but I don't know. We'll see if the Eagles are maybe due for a clunker or not, but that's an awful proud team there. That'll do it for this week's program, This Week in Pro Football. Thanks to all my friends in the chat for your thoughts and your prayers and for sticking with me for an hour and 10 minutes. And I enjoy talking with you guys each and every week. Thanks to everybody who came on the show. Thanks to Xander for producing. And we'll be back at it. We'll be back at it next week with week 5. This Week in Pro Football here on JAKIB Sports. And hit that like button before you go. All right? Good night, everybody.